So we wanted to go ahead and give a quick breakdown of our gear that we use on the Joshua Tree trip to give you guys a perspective of what we're going to be using moving forward when we go to Yosemite, Sequoia, Kings Canyon. We're actually leaving in 4 days, Blake? 4 days. Yeah, it's getting close. So we're finishing up the Joshua Tree video. We're going to post that tonight. So you'll see this video about a week later, probably right as we leave. So a quick few things. First, we used the Sierra Design Studio 3 tent that we talked about in our Joshua Tree video for the 2 of us, but we're going to be going on a trip with 3 people this time. We're going to include our friend Aaron. So the one we had was the Studio Designs 3, Studio 3 by Sierra Designs. We went with the Sierra Designs for our bags and for the tent, and we really liked it. It has a fin design on the tent. It also has a single opening, but the opening's at the head of the tent, so you don't have to wake people up to get out. And as you can see, it packs up in a nice package. So this doesn't necessarily fit 3 people though. So that's the only gripe that I have with this tent, is it fit the 2 of us. Blake has an extra wide sleeping pad, so his is gonna be 25 inches wide, mine's 20 inches wide. And we only had about 3 inches of clearance, which doesn't make the math for 3 sleeping pads fitting side by side, but that's my only gripe with it. Besides that, it was a great tent. It also weighs about 4 pounds all packed together, which is a bit of a high trail weight just for an individual person because we're gonna be using 2 tents. Blake? So I'm gonna be using the new REI Flash Air 1. It's a ultra lightweight tent that uses a trekking pole. You stake out the 4 corners and then just prop it up right in the middle. It weighs 1 pound 4 ounces, so I'm gonna be cutting a pretty good amount of weight out of my pack from that, and you can see that it packs down really nicely. You can actually fold it to smaller than this. The only reason that it has to be this long is it uses a center hub pole, which I really like. So if you actually look at the hub pole that it uses, your trekking pole just props up directly and goes into the bottom of this right here. And then this ultralight pole is the only thing that you have to carry with you, besides the foot pole, which is about the same length, a little bit shorter. And together, that's all you have to carry with the tent, besides your trekking pole, which I already use. So that's gonna be ultra lightweight. I'll give a gear review on that after I use it. I haven't gotten to use it out of the field yet. I've just set it out at my parents' house. We're actually out here having a backpacking video slash barbecue. And the trekking poles that I use to prop this up are going to be Black Diamond Alpine Cork carbon poles. So last year I used poles that were aluminum, that were the Z pole type, where they folded. And the only issue you have with that is when you're putting it on the outside of your bag, like on compression straps, it's not gonna be snug or tight. It's gonna take up a lot of room. It takes up about the same amount of room as a tent. But I did love that it had the cork handles. The cork grips to me are a big deal because the foam over time is gonna just absorb all of your sweat, and it's gonna get gross, and then it's gonna kind of like, you're gonna have a mask of where your hand goes. It's gonna mold to your hand, which can be nice, but it also removes all of the padding on it. The cork's not gonna have that issue. It's also gonna be antimicrobial because it is cork, so all of your sweat and everything on there that gets gross isn't gonna get as gross. Just be very careful. I have read that if you're backpacking in the Sierras, there are marmots everywhere and squirrels. And the marmots, squirrels, and actually the goats in Olympic National Park have all learned that the sweat that goes into the cork here is really tasty. So if you leave these sitting outside your tent or not inside a pack when you go for a day hike, you might come back to your trekking pole handle being eaten by a goat. I wouldn't recommend that. Keep it inside your tent. As far as water filtration went, in Joshua Tree you had to bring all your water, so we didn't have to filter it. But what I've been using for the last few trips that I've been on is the Sawyer Squeeze water filter. I really like that because it has the universal thread that you can put on a smart water bottle, which is really nice to carry. I don't really like the bag filtration system. The only reason I don't like their bags is I've had a few blowouts on the top. You have to backflow these, which I'll talk about my next water filter that I got to replace this. But the whole backflow system is about every 5 to 10 uses with a bag, depending on how dirty the water is. You have to backflow everything out the other way so that you re-clear the process. But sometimes you just are really dehydrated and you really want water, so you start squeezing the bag and then it busts, and then you're like out in the middle of nowhere with a busted bag. That happened to me last year in Yosemite, and I actually was holding it like this and did this as it happened, so my entire face got soaked, which was refreshing, but not what I wanted. You saw me climbing with Black Diamond gloves because I'm a little baby with my hands, and I play guitar, but I don't have climber's calluses. If you're climbing on granite, you're gonna scratch up the back of your hands, the front of your hands. It's like razor blades. Like when they say in the movie Free Solo that they're hanging on razor blades, you don't realize that they actually are until you get there, and then it slices your hand open. So I got these. It's just got leather on the inside to protect your hands for climbing. I'm gonna use them on the cables at Half Dome. That was the original intent. They just kind of happen to work great for rock climbing, and they have padded back hands. So what I really like about that is when you have them on, you can crack climb. So you can stick your hand in that crevice, and even though you don't have the calluses on the back side, you can apply pressure with your thumb and climb up straight a crack. I did like a 20-foot crack climb with these with no issue in Joshua Tree. As far as the rest of my sleeping portfolio goes, I went with the Nemo Tensor insulated pad. I went with this because it has dual baffleting in it, so it's gonna lay a lot cleaner than any of the, what's the brand, Thermarest? So Thermarest has the Uber Light, which I considered because it weighs less than this and takes about half the size of this. But I have to say, this is silent. When I sleep on it, I don't hear anything. I don't know if you've ever slept on a Thermarest, but I absolutely hate them. I can't sleep for a second on them because they're filled with the tin foil on the outside, and you might as well be a Chipotle burrito sleeping, and it's just disgusting to me. But that's just my personal preference. As far as a pillow goes, me and Blake are both kind of bougie when it comes to that, and we went with the memory foam pillow. So what I really like about this is A, you can see it packs up in a nice pouch, but B, when you take it out, it actually has an inch thick of memory foam on the top that combines with an air pad on the bottom. So once you inflate it, it's gonna feel basically better than your pillow at home. And it only takes 3 breaths to inflate, which is really nice. You can see how fast that works. Packing it back up is really quick and clean, and I got one that has like a microfiber cover, so it actually is really soft and breathable on your face. If it gets really hot, you can actually flip it over to this side, and that doesn't have any material on it, which some people hate, but I actually like it because it's really cold. It's always the cool side of the pillow in the summer. So as far as gear goes, besides the lighting, that's what I had. Lighting, I actually just picked up a Black Diamond Spot 325 headlamp. Gifted my old headlamp to Aaron, but it was the same exact headlamp, it was just a different color. Then in the tents, we have these Lucy inflatables. They're solar panel powered. They work great when you have solar power, but if you don't consistently have solar power, because they take like 5 hours to charge, they're not that great. What we do like about them is it doesn't give you harsh light, so when you blow it up inside the tent, it gets nice and inflated. You can hang it from the ceiling, and then, I don't know if you can see, but it has a bunch of different color modes. It's RGB, so you can kind of set it to things. It can strobe. We just played music to it and took videos of the roof. That's kind of what we used it for. But then it packs up into a nice design like that. And so for boots, I went with a Salomon Ultra Mid GTX 3. They have the liner on the inside that is the Gore-Tex liner, so it's going to protect you from water on the outside. You just have to make sure that water doesn't get on the inside because it's not going to dry out. I prefer to walk through a stream and not worry about my feet getting wet rather than them getting wet every single time and drying out. And then I have creek crossing shoes actually that I don't have with me, figures, but I'll go ahead and review those after I use them. And then the last thing for me, last 2 things actually. One is the Bear Vault. I recommend the BV 500 if you're doing anything over 3 days. BV 450 is good for under 3 days. But this is my entire 6-day loadout for Yosemite of food. I have Cliff Bars, energy gels, breakfast, dinner, and some lunches thrown in here. I actually have a creme brulee for us to enjoy on top of Half Dome as well. That's actually, I don't know if you know about the Yosemite Sneaky Bear, but the Sneaky Bear tried to steal my food last year in Yosemite, so I've got a few scratches on it. Just warrior wounds though. And then the last thing I talked about liking Sierra Designs, we used the flex capacitor. We both had the 40 to 60 flex capacitor, which is the stock option, because they didn't have the alternate sizes when we went to Joshua Tree. Blake got the new 60 to 75 liter, which is going to be even larger, allows for more room. But we really enjoyed them, and that's all my gear.
Hey guys, Blake here. So we just watched Mac do his rundown. I think I'm gonna start with the bags first. Mac has the 40 to 60. Aaron also has a 40 to 60 liter Sierra Designs flex capacitor. I have the version 2 and the 60 to 75. It's big boy. I'm very happy with it. It actually fits my back a lot better than the regular size. I know they also have a 20 to 40 liter in the flex capacitor with the V2 stuff. Not much different in the construction. You got an extra water bottle pocket, different colorway as well. The originals are gray. This one is the peat colorway, but black, as you can see, compared to the silver, the scarlet and gray. Still got a little bit of a Buckeye theme though here. Inside, Mac and I are carrying bare vaults. We've both got the 500. Got some random stuff in here right now. Aaron's gonna be camera mule, I believe, so he won't have one of these. I've also got a extra long, extra wide sleeping pad from Nemos, the Cosmo 3D. It is just an inch shorter than my height, actually. I'm 6'9", so that's 81 inches. I believe this is 80, but it fits pretty well. It takes up a lot of room though, but it has kept me warm in a snowstorm. It has kept me comfortable in the summer. I love this thing. Would recommend. REI duck back, always have to have that. Sleeping bag, hike and bike. This is the 15-degree bag. Packs down fairly well, especially since it's the extra long, extra wide again, since I'm 6'9". This is about 7 feet long, so it fits me well. I like it a lot. For my trekking poles, I did a lot of research on these. Sadly, I couldn't get cork handles. LL Bean actually makes an extra long 150 centimeter trekking pole, so that's what I had to go with. I'd like something made out of carbon with cork handles, but you know, if anybody knows of a 150 centimeter trekking pole pair, that is what I would like, and very, you know, lightweight. If you guys know about it, please let me know, because I would love you forever. Lighting, again, we've got the Lucy light that Mac just went over, RGB. I'm also bringing a string light in a bag, also RGB, color changeable. Got to get those nighttime shots. Nalgene, of course. I'm using the Black Diamond Storm 450 headlamp, I believe it's the 450. Pretty powerful, hasn't served me poorly. Battery life could be better. I've been looking into some more options for this, but it's served pretty well so far. As for drying myself off from the trails and streams, we've got the Matador Packable towel, very lightweight. It's like a microfiber material. Honestly, looks like Rayskin wallet. It feels like it too, but cloth. Obligatory filled notes, always have to have these. The camera I'm using on the trail is going to be the Fuji X100V. I used to have the X100F, that's what I brought to Joshua Tree, but I upgraded. I'm very happy about the upgrade. The build quality is a little bit. It's quite a big departure from the old one. It's weather sealed, obviously. The Gen 2 lens is far sharper. It's really made me quite happy, honestly. I love this thing. Clothes, these are all my clothes for about a week and a half. This is the Peak Design Travel Packing Cube, the small size, and this is the small size. It's pretty big. It does compress. I've got enough to make it not compress. The medium is absolutely massive, so you probably only need a small. Other than that, small Sierra Designs fanny. Smaller than I was expecting. As for footwear, we've got the Nike Trail Terra Kiger 5. These are going to be my trail crossing shoes. They're very comfortable, very low to the ground, very fast. I like these a lot. I've been wear testing these. I need to clean them up before we leave for Yosemite. The real shoe though, the real hero is the Quest 4D GTX from Salomon. Just like the mids that Mac has, that has the Gore-Tex in there. Very comfortable. These, I could probably say, saved my life since we were in Joshua Tree and I had a broken arm. These kept me on the ground, stable, and safe and sound. Mom would appreciate. Always got the Peak Design bags is my travel stuff. This holds all my carry-on things. I put the Sierra Designs flex capacitor into a 100-liter REI packable duffel. This comes onto the plane with me. Roll top, got all my tech gear in there. Got the Peak Design pouches as well in there. But that's my loadout.